Good morning. It's Saturday, 6 a.m. Now, before I go for my nice walk and gym or whatever I do today, I thought I'd make a little video. And this one, we're going to recreate this image here in Blender. So let's try and model our own version of this and create our own scene. This by this guy, Nikita. But yeah, I just found it interesting. I thought something simple, quick to do. Let's get started. So we've got our default scene with the cube. So I'm just gonna delete the camera and the sun, and just keep the cube, the default cube as it is. We can work from this. So what you want to do is go into edit mode, top left, edit mode. Select the edges. So we want edges selected. Right click, bevel edges, and drag the mouse to the right. As you can see, now you can choose how far that bevels on the corners. Now we want more segments to get more rounded. So I'm going to choose 6 and I'm happy with that. Now you can choose how round you want yours to be. Now what I do want to do is add a loop cut. So I do want to add some loop cuts. I want to add a loop cut here. And also want to add a loop cut here, where the lid will go. So this is going to be the ribbon, and this loop cut here is for the what's it called, the lid. Okay, so the following, I'm going to select this loop and right click and say, actually I'm going to select this half, make my life easier. Say this half, this half of the loop. I'm going to right click and say separate selection. So now you can see it says cube 01. I'm just going to rename this. Alright, rib lid. So this will be the ribbon on the lid that we're going to use that for. And then I'll do the same for the box. I'll select this loop. Not the entire loop, but as you can see, there you go. So just this part of the loop, or the edge, should I say. Make sure I have this selected. Let's say separate selection, and I'll call this rib box. Squad box. And we'll use these later. I'll just turn them off for now. Now, if I go back to the cube, we can select this edge loop now. So if I alt click this, I can get rid of this edge. So I can just right click and dissolve the edge. So like it wasn't there. So now we've got the pieces that we need. Let's separate this section and the box out. So let's split this. So I'm going to toggle X-ray mode on. Make sure I've got faces on. Go to the side view and select this top half. Right click and say separate selection. Now if we come out of edit mode, you can see we've got 2 pieces. You can toggle the X-ray mode off. So we've got 2 pieces. This will be the lid, and this is the box. And we've got 2 pieces. Brilliant. So let's start with the lid, and let's create the ribbon that sits on the lid. So this is the box, so I want the lids. There it is. So we have this edge loop, right? So if I go into that wireframe, just so it's easier to see. So this edge here, what I want to do is shift select, tab. So I'll go to edit mode, select this edge A. I'm going to press E to extrude, and then drag it out to the right. There we go. Again, I'll repeat this, Alt E, and extrude it the other way. There we go. So now we've got this ribbon that sits on top of the box. I'm sure there's a lot easier ways to do it. So if we come back out into shaded mode, now I'm going to just press S to scale this up a tiny bit, so it's not intersecting, it's just sitting on the box. Now what I do want to do, sometimes I notice faces can get messed up, so check the face orientation. Yeah, and that's also right. I don't know why. So I only noticed this on 4, but I always double check on 4, but In the older ones, I never noticed this, but 4 I've noticed this happen a bit. But I'm gonna right click, sorry, don't go to mesh, normalize, and say flip. There we go. That solves our problem. If you don't fix that, if I undo this and go back to how it was, like this, and say I want to solidify this, you'll get some funny behavior. So go generate, solidify. You can see what I'm talking about because the faces are not all facing the right direction. The solidify won't work correctly. So yeah, that's one to note. I noticed it on 4. I haven't noticed it really on. I haven't had much problems when I do something like this on 3.6. I think I was using last. But yeah, I flip those normals. Make sure your normals are fine, and then once you're happy with that, you can just turn it off and go back into your normal shaded mode. Anyway, we can apply the modifier to generate solidify, and then we can add some thickness to this, and let's add a bevel. It's nice smooth edge, so we can add a few segments in. There we go. Just a little bit more rounded. And then what I want to do is just Control C, Control V, and rotate this round. Up the value, I can just type it 90. There we go. Now where it's intersecting here, maybe I want to go into edit mode and select. So we're going to wireframe and then add some edge loops in the middle. So I'll just add some edge loops here. And this just allow me to lift this up. These two, this up. Select these two, bring this up. These two, bring these up. So now if we go back into, there we go. So it's, looks a little bit neater. There we go. Now it's too perfect, of course. So we're going to select, let's go to X-ray mode. Let's select these two edges here. We need to add some edges on these bottoms. So let's add the edge loop. Select the edge loop, add some additional loops. Do the same on here. Boom, boom, boom. And we're going to do the same on this one while we're here. Oops. There we go. Sorry if I'm going a bit too fast. Just a little. Just adding edge loops. That's all we're doing. What I do want to do is now just make this kind of fold out a little. So pull these out like so. You can view it from the side if you want. And then let's just bring this out. Just move it out slightly. Yeah. And then maybe this one we're going to do the same, but maybe this one's a bit further out, over exaggerate it. Yeah. So and then we'll do the same on this side. Again, it doesn't have to be can be like that. You can just have one side like this. Maybe that side is perfect. It doesn't have to be all the same. Let's turn off X-ray so you can see. Doesn't need to be perfect. Anyway, so I've pretty much got most of the lid done. We do need to add the ribbon and the knot. So let's do the knot next. So add a mesh. Let's use a cube, and this cube I'll rename this knot. Okay. Scale this down. Let's look at it from above. Okay. So we can get a nice scale. Now you can choose the direction where you want the knot hole to come from. If you want to go across the X or the Y, I'm going to go across the X. So I'm going to make a hole, just taking these two faces out. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Like this. Okay, hit tab, go into edit mode, or you can go up to top left, edit mode. Select these two faces and delete those faces. Okay. Next we want to select all the edges. So these outer edges, boom, boom, boom. Right click, bevel edge, boom. Now we have kind of a knot. Okay, now I'm going to select this top face here and push this down a little. Maybe I'll select this edge here and this edge here and just, there we go. It's not perfect, but maybe I want to squish it a tiny bit. Yeah. Now let's add some thickness to this. So we're going to solidify this and also add a bevel. So generate, solidify. Let's do it outwards. And let's add a bevel to this. Boom. Go. Now let's add the bow. So we want a bow like coming out the sides, like whoop, whoop, little loops. So what we can do is we go to, let's use, make sure in preferences, if you have extra objects, or is it extra mesh, or say extra mesh, it's worth turning that on. Also turn on extra curves, add curve, extra objects. Yeah, turn these on if you do have it, because then you can go here, add mesh, and choose a single vertex. Boom. And then from this, what we can do is extrude out. So with the vertices selected, I could say maybe this is our starting point, and go E. I'll just extrude this out. Of course, you can use a curve if you want. I'm going to use a vertex and just make some mesh. I'm going to just draw. Not the best ribbon in the world. Yeah. Now if I turn on X-ray mode, I can see where. Let's go back to the side view, so I can see. I want to connect these two. So I select these two, and I'm going to just say merge at center. Boom. Now if I go into edit mode, select the edge A, extrude E, and then I want to drag out on this Y, like so. And I'm going to just go object, set orientation, set the origin to the surface of mass, just makes life easier. There you go. Looking good, right? Now it's very low poly, so of course we want to add some, mesh to that. So what we're going to do is add this subdivision. Boom. I'd say set it to 2. We will of course want to solidify this and add some thickness. There we go. And finish off by adding a bevel. Reset segment. There we go. Something nice. And you can see here it's intersecting, no problem. You can just select that edge and kind of pull that down. You can move these around, you can play around with that. Or you can even choose the vertices and say make it wider at one point, and it goes narrow. Is it have a play? Doesn't it's not perfect because it doesn't have to be perfect. There's always imperfections in everything. There we go. So we kind of got a ribbon with a knot, and we've got the box and the lid. Now what I want to do is parent all of this, and this to the lid. So select the lid last, right click, parent object. So this allows me now to move this up, select the lid and move this up, and everything's connected to it, no problem. Perfect, I'm happy with that. Let's now work on the ribbon on the box. So we got the rib box, remember, that we created, and it's doing the same thing. So let's just turn on X-ray mode. Select this, go into edit mode, go into edges, and press A, select all, E to extrude, and just drag out to the right, and then I'll do the same and extrude that to the left. Oh, click, sorry. There we go. Something wrong there. There we go. Extrude out. There we go. Now make sure the thickness is the same. So if I go to this side view here, I can see, kind of get a rough idea. There we go. Just move that out. And then press S to scale. Again, I'll turn this off. I can see already the faces are not correct when I was looking at it in the X-ray mode. You can see it looks wrong, doesn't it? There's something wrong with it. So turn that face orientation on. You can see here we want to change these faces and flip them. These faces here. Just go here, mesh, normal, flip. There we go. There we go. Now we can turn this off. Face orientation. Go into edit mode. Now you can choose to add some cuts into this ribbon as well. I'm just gonna subdivide this. Just by adding cuts in. There we go. And again, you can now move these out. You'll look at it from the side. So vertices, use vertices. So boom. X-ray mode. There we go. This allows me to select both sides if I go into X-ray mode. So it's gonna be like kind of folded, peeling off there. Maybe this one slightly. Oops. Yeah. So let's add the solidify and the bevel on there too. Generate, solidify. Boom. Add a bevel. Go. And then what we're going to just do is copy this, Control C, Control V. Okay. The second one, we just want to rotate this along the Z. So I'm going to set this to 90. But we don't want them to all look equally the same. So maybe I'll move some of these points. So maybe this one's like down on one side. Go down. Yeah. There we go. So it's, different from each angle. There's nothing repeated. You notice the box itself is not solidified because it's really paper thin. It looks paper thin, so it doesn't really look like a box. But before we do that, let's select these two ribbons and then select the box. Right click, parent this to it. So that's parent object. So now we can move the box. Boom, and then we've got the lid already. Now with the lid, you can also go object, set origin to surface mask. There you go. Looks a bit better. And I can move this up off the ground or wherever I want it in the scene. I'm going to move this slightly higher up because there is a platform that will sit here. So I'll just move that slightly higher up. Anyway, let's add the solidify to the box itself. So generate, solidify, add thickness within. So if we take a look inside, and let's also generate a bevel, add some segments. I don't want it completely rounded at the top, but just want a soft little bevel on the top. There we go. And we'll repeat the same on this one, the lid. So we're going to add solidify, change that thickness, go, and then generate bevel. And just change that amount on that. There we go. So I pretty much modeled the box. Nothing too fancy, hopefully. You know, I know it's a bit simple. And you notice we've got a lot of hard edges, so we can just start right clicking, just shade auto smooth, shade auto smooth, shade auto smooth. There we go. Just right click and shade auto smooth on these objects. There we go. It's already looking better. So hopefully you find that useful, you know. It's very basic modeling. Nothing too fancy. But maybe something useful. Anyway, next. So let's take a look at the image. Those gold bars, and then there's this kind of plates on the floor. So let's make the gold bar so we can put the gold bars in. Gold bars straightforward. We're just gonna get a cube. And what we're gonna do is just call this gold bar. So I'll rename that gold bar. We're gonna go into edit mode. Okay, select this top. We're gonna actually, before we go to edit mode, let's look at it from above and let's turn it into a rectangle so it's more like a gold bar shape, and look at it from the side. There we go. So now we have more of a rectangle. We're going to just go into edit mode, select this top face and just scale this in and bring this down. Now we have a gold bar. If you hit Control A and then apply the scale, now we're going to do is go to generate and bevel, and then you can change the amount of that bevel and increase the segments. There we go. We've got a nice clean gold bar. At any point you can put this and you can tweak this bar, you know, if you want to make it a bit more, play around with the shape, you can change that. But there you go, we have a gold bar. Straightforward. Okay. But we can position this in the scene, and we can duplicate this in a second. Let's add the platform. So mesh. Now this can be whatever you want. I'm gonna just use a cylinder. Nothing too fancy. Cylinder. And I'll scale this up. Scale it down like this. Nice big base for it to sit on. So if I go into the side view here, we're going to stack some of these. So I'm going to have one here. Now before I do anything, I want to apply some modifiers to this. So again, Control A, apply the scale to that, then apply a bevel modifier to that. There we go. Nice rounded edge. Now if I say shade auto smooth, it's pretty nice. Nothing too bad. Oh, don't undo. I accidentally press undo. Ignore that. Anyway, Control C, Control V, and Control C, Control V. I'll move that up again. I just want to offset these. Don't want it to be perfect. This out like this. There we go. Now we can bring the box down so it sits on top. So let's look at it from the side here. Let's bring this down. There we go. And the lid, of course, as well. Maybe I want to rotate this slightly so it's not looking at it flat on. There we go. We can play around with that. It doesn't matter. This gold bar, of course, we want it to sit on the base as well, so we can just move that into place, and then you can start stacking them how you like, or you can position it and rotate it how you like. So copy, paste that, then drag this, copy and paste again, and then just rotate this to something you like. You can stack them how you like. There's no rule to how you stack them. And let's copy one more, paste it, and we're going to place it in the box. Maybe do it slightly maybe one sticking up here, add the box like this, see it like this, and copy again, paste. This one could be a bit more on this side. Oops. Then scaled it and move this down. We don't want it intersecting in anything. There we go. So maybe I'll rotate this a tiny bit. There we go. So, you know, we've got a box. We modeled a box with gold bars. Got a little base. Let's add a studio floor, like a little studio backdrop. So mesh plane. And just S. And you can rename this plane to backdrop if you want. Backdrop. And then the cylinders, you noticed I may have not, I didn't name these, so I can call this base, and it'll be base 1, 2, base 1, base 2. So you know, you got backdrop, the base, the box, the gold bars, and the lid. And there you go. So we've got our ground plane. Now I just want to select this edge in edit mode. So select this back edge, drag E to extrude up, drag this up. Okay, select this edge. Probably seen this now 1,000 times. Extrude this edge, bevel edge, sorry. And then you can choose how many segments you want on there. Added a few, about 8, and I'll right click, shade smooth. Make this nice and big. There we go. Not looking bad. So return on, say, ambient occlusion, change our shading mode. I'll just make this a bit extreme, something like 12, boom. It doesn't look terrible. You know, it's not bad for this. Anyway, now you can choose to use Eevee or cycles, whatever one you want to render this, and create all your materials. From this point on, it's more of me just now just dropping some materials on and lighting it. So I'm going to do this in cycles. I like the results. Make sure this set to GPU. I'm going to denoise this. And the way I like to do it is do a vertical split when I'm working and set this to N, and then so this is my what's it, shaded mode, so I can see what's happening here, and then I'll just work in the normal, I don't know what you call that, viewport shading mode, I don't know, the grey, standard grey. Anyway, let's just uncheck the scene world, bring that strength down a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, so you can still see what the objects are. So let's create the easiest one. Let's add a material to this. So I'm gonna just uncheck those, so now I can see clean viewport there. On this gold bar, so let's add a material new. Call this gold. Okay, give it a gold material, a gold color, should I say? And we're going to make it slightly metallic and bring that roughness down. Now we have a gold bar. Now I can assign the same gold material to the others. Gold, gold, and gold. Now the base, we can make a new color, call this base. Now you can choose whatever color you want. You want blue, green, red, yellow. I'm going to leave it kind of like this kind of beige color. Slightly, it's got a slight tint to it. And then maybe bring the roughness up. There we go. And I'll apply the same base material to these cylinders. Okay, let's do the box. So the box, I'm going to just remove that and add a new material, call this box. Now, it was quite glossy in our example, this example that we had. It was a little bit glossy. You can see it's glossy, but it's also got a matte kind of, a glossy matte. So you can go for that. You can go for that gray if you want, and then you can play around with that roughness and how much gloss you want. Entirely up to you. However, maybe I don't like the gray, so maybe I'll go for a different color and a lighter color because it's quite dark. You know, go for something. You can do something different. Let's go for something. Let's go for this kind of aqua green. We can change these colors, so we're not locked into them. And we're gonna apply the same material. So this box color to that. Let's create a ribbon material, new, and rename that. I'll just call this rib. And then you can leave this white if you want. Maybe just a bit more glossy. There we go. You can see here. And then I'll just apply it to the rest of the ribbons. The same one, rib. This will be rib. The knot, rib. Now the knot, I don't think I named the knot. Let's see. I did not name the knot, so if I go into lid. Oh, I did name it. Okay. Sorry. Ignore me. Right. Like this. Rib material. There we go. Just make sure all of these have the rib material on. Yeah. Happy with that. Now the inside. Now we can add an emissive shader in there. So for us to do that on the lid, or if you want a different color, if you don't want emissive, a secondary color, we need to apply the modifiers. So on the lid and the box. So I'm going to apply the solidify first, then followed by the bevel. I'll do the same on the box. What I'll do is say apply and apply. So those modifiers are now applied, which now if I go into edit mode, so we go here to edit mode, and I select faces. Now if I go into, let me make this slightly bigger, there we go. Let's go into X-ray mode. Now if I select that inside face here, and we grow the selection by holding Control and plus on the keyboard, we can grow that selection, and we want to apply a different material to the inside. So we're going to just add and assign a new material. We're going to call this inside. And that's assigned to that now. So now you can see, well, you should be able to see here, it's a different material now. And again, we do it the same on here. So just select this face on the inside, Control plus to grow the selection. We're going to assign a new material, plus assign a new material, which will be inside. There we go. Take a look, you can see now we've got an inside completely different from the outside. Oh, and I've also forgot to put a material on the backdrop here. So our backdrop doesn't have a material, so we can add a new material. You can name that backdrop if you want as well. Backdrop, and then change the color, and you'll see how much it makes so much difference, you know, just having the colors pop out. I can pop so much like that. Anyway, and when we start adding the, like, if we add gobo lights and stuff like that, it will look a lot more better. Anyway, I'm waffling on, sorry. Anyway, I'm going to turn the X-ray mode off. There we go. Now that inside material, like I said, if you want it to maybe add a look like it's glowing from the inside, you can play around with the emission. So say it was a gold, and then you can see it's emission. I'm going to change this, kind of bring this color. Yeah, this nice kind of glow. It's emitting the light. If I was to turn off the scene world, you can see it. The only thing that's giving us the light is the actual box, the inside of the box. And you can, of course, you know, make this a bit overpowered and be really subtle. Entirely up to you. Yeah, but you can. It does add a little bit to it. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I'm gonna leave the scene world on and just bring that strength down. And you can play around with the different environments, or you can bring in your own HDRIs. Entirely up to you. Let's leave this bedroom one for now. You can of course rotate this and change it around. But yeah, bring the strength down. Next, what I want to do is add an empty to my scene. So add an empty. So this is the empty I'm going to use. I'm going to just use a sphere, make this nice and big. It's easy to see and click. Now this empty is what I want the camera and my spotlights to kind of lock onto and track to. So when we go in here, you'll see when we add a camera now. So we're going to say add a camera. We're going to put this up over here. Just pull it out. So if I press 0 on the numpad and then home key, you can see now we're just looking at the camera view. Let's move this toolbox out. There we go. So you can see now. And on the viewport here, I'm just going to passport out. Now you can only see what the camera sees here. Okay. So now if I move this around, you know, to make our life easier, we can say track 2 on the camera, and we want to say on the empty, track the empty. So now it's always looking at that sphere. So if I move the sphere up, it follows it, or in this case, it's where our subject is. Okay. And I'm going to pull this out a little. I'm going to change the camera. Now you can choose to keep it at perspective. Maybe you want to change the focal length of the camera or whatever you want. For this one, I'm going to change it to graphic. And let's scale this out. Nice and big. So something like this. So once you're happy with it, you know, kind of like that. And animate this maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what I like to do is use the gobo lights. Of course, you can use your own ones. From this point on, it's up to you how you want to light this. You can just use normal lights. But I'm going to go here into my asset browser, where I have some gobo lights. And I don't know why in 4 as well, I noticed that not all my gobo lights are in the right folders now. They're like all over here. So there's some funny business going on with 4 and the way my asset library is working. Anyway, but that doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect you. I'm going to take this abstract spotlight here, drop it into my scene. I'm going to also use the track 2 on the spotlight, and I'll say I want it to track the empty. So now I can close this. So join the area, so I can close the asset browser up. Yeah, now I can with this spotlight, you can see the spotlight is always gonna light this. It's always aiming in that direction. Let's increase this power at the extra 0. Boom. Starting to look nice. Actually, I like it from above. It kind of looks nice. Let's make this bigger. So there we go. Nice and big so we can see. That looks pretty nice. Play around with that, of course. We can change the spotlight radius. And we can also blur some of that if you want. Now bring that strength down more. There we go. That strength down. Just a tiny bit of reflection. There you go. Hopefully, you know, we've made the box. Now you can add additional lighting in here. Like I said, you don't have to use the gobo lights. You can use your area lights or your point lights as well. So I'll scale this up. We have a second light coming in from the side. And again, you can still apply track 2 constraints. Let's point it at the empty. Let's put it over here to the side. Let's increase that to, I don't know, 5,000. See what happens. Maybe at 50,000. Let's make that really strong. Really, really strong. Let's scale this up. There we go. Make it nice and soft. Maybe I'll take a 0. It's too strong. But there we go. And you can change the color if you want. I don't know. Maybe you want a more warm color coming from the side. You get all kinds of cool looks, you know. It's like yeah, but play around with that. Maybe that's too much, but there we go. Can move this around to position. I like it. Maybe I like that. Kind of like that. Also, you want to light it from behind. I don't know. Or from above. You can move this around to have like, and yeah, of course, play with the colors. Maybe that's too strong. Maybe 3000. There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of not liking the box material, the color, and the box itself. So of course you can change. You can make this more glossy if you want, or less. Let's play around with that roughness. Like that. Not sure about the color. I mean, it was great, the example, but play around. I mean, I do like the green. Maybe it's just too dark. There we go. And then, of course, maybe rotate this bar a tiny bit. Maybe it's too flat on. We're looking at it too flat on. There we go. You can play around with the objects and the placements and stuff. Oops. Selected multiple objects there. There we go. See clipping in, but there you go. Hopefully that was useful. Of course, you can animate all of this if you wanted. Yeah, so you can offset this lid. So it's like yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully I didn't waffle on too much. Sometimes I do. I do that a lot actually. But enjoy your evening, morning, or day. I'm gonna go for my walk now. Enjoy your weekend.